Hello, everyone. This is Jim Okerzinski with this week's lecture video. So, I would like to begin this week's lecture video with a reach back to last week's activity, specifically the discussion board post on theories of intelligence. Now, I responded to all the discussion board posts with a comment highlighting what components were actually existing or found in theories of intelligence. Many students commented that it was not a research essay, it was more of a personal narrative. A few people felt that it was a research essay. So I want to really address the issue of what a research essay is. Certainly, the topic about Ballinger's intelligence might have seemed a bit out of bounds for a research essay as far as a topic. The idea here I want to really impress upon everybody is for you to cast aside, and I said this in last week's videos, to cast aside and challenge your thinking about the research essay or the research paper. Oftentimes we look for these technical topics, we just want to regurgitate information. I read a whole bunch of those types of topics today. GMOs, going to Mars. I can't even remember all the topics that I reviewed in grading out the discussion board. But the idea here is that everybody looks toward these kind of like reportish. That's what I'll use the word is reportish type topics where you'll gather some information, you regurgitate it because that's basically what you've been trained to do in writing a research essay. So going back to the types of evidence here of memory and experience, observation, reading, and interview, if you were to really take a good hard look at theories of intelligence, everybody tried to label it as something else, but what else would it be? We asked the questions of what conventions does it share, and which doesn't it share with the academic research paper, as least as you understand. And I think what bothered everybody was the topic that he was talking about, his own intelligence and his insecurities and really in academia. So, who determines the conventions of a genre like a college research paper in the first place? And even do they matter? What are those genres anyway? And we always have to question this because the research paper is often assigned in other disciplines, whether it's psychology, sociology, any of the humanities, other English courses it might be assigned to you. So the idea here is understanding how the research essay has come about and also different ways to look at it, right? So if we were to look at theories of intelligence, I think you have all the conventions that we normally associate with a research essay, a research paper. I mean, there was a thesis statement there that controls the essay, which is basically as simple as it is that Ballinger said he's not as dumb as he thought he was. All right, there was secondary research in there. There were sources cited in the works cited page. All of them were reliable and credible sources from scholarly-like journals, quality publications that would stand up anywhere. They all worked to support the main argument and the points that he was making. Granted, he really, weaved in the anecdotal stories about his life, but all of those stories and those experiences actually supported the main argument, which is his intelligence and his struggles throughout his life. Okay, there was actually a counter argument toward the end of the essay, and also there's the conclusion that kind of connects back to the thesis. So if we looked at the conventions that we normally associate with the research paper, then your only conclusion would be that it is a research paper, but the topic and the voice causes everybody to think that it can't possibly be because it's more of a narrative style. Well, once again, if we were to look at the introduction, look on page 9 where Ballinger talks about a narrative style and also discourse communities, we have an idea of really what his point is with theories of intelligence and how we look at all of the evidence that we can use to support research, right? You had memory and experience in theories of intelligence. There was observation in there. He used, like I said, the secondary sources, scholarly journals, and even there was an interview in that theories of intelligence essay by Ballinger. So, my thinking is that this is a research essay. It is a research paper, and it's one that I really challenge all of you to write over the course of the semester here. So it may alter your thinking about a topic. Instead of giving me that dry, regurgitated research essay, this is allowing you the freedom to rethink your topics as we move through chapter 1, so that by next week you're able to write the write the research paper, and more so the proposal. So one thing I offer up here in the in the module for chapter 1 is a discussion about discourse communities, right? So Swales here, and there's the article, I'll click on that. You may want to take a look at, proposes the idea of a discourse community. Ballinger, like I said, talks about it on page 9 in the textbook. But a discourse community is a group of people who share a set of discourses, understood as basic values and assumptions, and ways of communicating about their goals, right? So Swales defined discourse communities as groups that have goals and purposes and use communication to achieve their goals. So, for example, there was somebody who was writing as a topic throughout about sports cars. Well, that's great, okay? But if you're going to write about sports cars, what are you going to write? I want to point out really that our conversation is going to move into a really elaborate annotated bibliography that you will need 8 sources for. Your ultimate research essay, the end assignment that we work all semester to get to that point and accumulate all this information, it's actually 7 to 8 pages or 2,500 words. Some of the topics that are reviewed in the discussion board for exercise 1.1, I don't know if they're going to be able to carry that kind of a conversation, have that kind of content. So let me go back to sports cars. Somebody talked about sports cars. It's an interesting topic, but what do you think that maybe being part of a discourse community that's within sports cars, where members share their common goals, they have a way of communicating, they also have mechanisms to provide information and feedback, okay? They possess one or more genres in communicating their aims, right? They have their own language and genres, and lexis is what we call it, because the lexicon means language, vocabulary. And also they have a suitable degree of relevant content and what they call discoursal expertise. There's always somebody in a discourse community that is a little bit more of an expert, right? So I give some examples here, and you may want to take a look at this in relation to the topics you came up with for exercise 1.1. Here are some of Swales's discourse communities. Here on the top half, on the bottom half, I came up with some contemporary examples, whether it's YouTube communities, social media. Somebody was writing about social media and influencers and groups. Look at your discourse community there. Now I think a couple of people came up with gaming. You want to write about TikTok, Instagram, hobbies, sports, a career path, friends and family are just some of the discourse communities that are out there that we might really be a part of every day in our everyday life. All right. So as I comment and I look through, if I say that I doubt that this topic is able to carry a conversation, please reconsider my wise advice on that. I've been doing this for a minute. Some topics just on the surface are really going to be difficult for you to talk about in an extended academic conversation, which is in fact what the research essay is in this course. All right, so be aware of that. That's about all I have for now. I may produce some specialty videos in a little shorter nature for some additional instruction regarding the picking of a topic in this particular unit. This is critical because this is a topic that you are going to research and write about throughout the rest of the semester. So it's got to have some real sticking power here. All right. That being said, that's it for the lecture video. Good luck. Stay safe.